This is lesson 10 in the Microsoft SQL Server 2012. Going to be using data manipulation functions. The functions are sometimes database specific. Some functions will not work well with others. We're specifically going to work on date and time manipulation functions. Date and times are stored in tables, special data types, this so they can be stored or filtered quickly. There is some commonly used date and time manipulation functions like date add, date name, date part, day, get date, month, and year to make sure we're in the right database. So I'm going to go into crash course to select order underscore comma date part parentheses weekday, and as you can see, the IntelliSense is telling you what needs to be included in your query as you go along. So if you have any question of what is needed, just look to that. The weekday, order underscore date, and then add weekday. Going from orders and execute it, and you can see that it returns the numerical values of the day of the week. But we can change this to specify the actual name of the day. Our order underscore num date name instead of part to date part parentheses weekday, and then a comma and order date, and then we need to make sure we add in an extra parentheses to cover for the other one. Then as weekday from orders, so let's execute, and you can see that it changed the weekday from the numerical value to actual name of the day. So you could also use some shortcuts for the date part. You can do the date, month, and year instead of doing date part for the day, or date part month, or date part year. You can just put in day, month, and year, and it would do the same thing. Now suppose that you wanted to do a comparison using dates. So in this instance, you would need to use the where clause. For this, let's back up, start fresh with select customer underscore ID, comma, order num. Next line is from orders. Then the next line we're going to do where the order date underscore date equals single quotations 2005-09-01 single quotations, and then your semicolon, execute. And you can see we do have a customer placed an order on the 1st of September 2005. So suppose we also would like to know what time this order was placed. And keeping the same select query and the same table, if we change this to ask where date DIFF parentheses day, comma, order date, and instead of the equals, we take that out, put a comma, leave that as the same, put another parentheses in, and this will equal 0. Now let's execute this. See that now the date diff, it actually does the day. You can see that the order date, that's the column, and this is the day. So if we wanted to get all of the orders for one entire day instead of just one particular customer, leave the customer ID, order number, orders, date diff, and instead change this to month, order date, and then leave that as the same and leave that as the same. Execute. This gives you all customers that ordered on the 1st of September. And suppose you want to do for an entire year. We would change this again, but instead of date diff to year, take out the rest of that, leave the order date. We're going to change this to 2005 and month, and then put order date, underscore date, parentheses, and that equals 9. Let's execute, and you can see that it's telling the database to pull the information from the year 2005 from the month of September to be the same information. There's a few other numeric functions you can use, and that is lesson 10, using date and time manipulation functions.